Yeah, I think it's important to understand why we put questions to you in debate. It's because, on the face of it, we may have certain difficulties. We don't put questions to you because we want to be difficult. We put questions to you because you may be able to assist us with those. And so evading these questions doesn't assist your case. Also important, I think, is body language in court. Rolling your eyes, shrugging your shoulders, demonstrating exasperation as if, what an idiotic question from the bench. It may well be idiotic, but just don't show it to us. And most importantly, I think, don't lose your cool. Losing your cool, I think, is a surefire way to losing your case. Now, reading, for example, your heads of argument from the bar before us, that's a pointless exercise. We've read the heads. We're familiar with them. We've read the record. And it's for you to take us through the salient points, logically, hopefully, from one step to the next, and to lead us to the conclusion that you want us to arrive at, which takes me then to the drafting of the heads. Now, it's important for you when you draft the heads to bear in mind that the object of filing heads is to assist the court in preparing for the hearing. Good heads usually constitute a draft judgment. We may liberally borrow from your heads, without giving you credit, of course. But I think it's important for you to understand that when you draft your heads, that what you in effect are giving to the court is a process of logical reasoning. And the purpose of the heads is to ultimately assist the court with the preparation of its judgment. So just bear that in mind.
Well, let's just go back to body language. There are two things that should happen. It now becomes when counsel thinks that the judges are clueless, okay, they tend to say, with the greatest respect. And really what they mean is the greatest damnation, okay? I mean, really, you idiot. So it doesn't help. I mean, when you say with the greatest respect, and really, Justice, with the greatest respect, it just gets people going, it rubs people up the wrong way. I always say ordinary respect will do. But the other thing that's important is to read the mood of the bench. Figure out which judge is against you, and figure out who you might want to persuade to a different point of view. So you'll hear that quite early on. A judge will put a question and you'll work out quite early on whether it's antagonistic, whether it's friendly. Sometimes it is deceptively friendly and lures you into a trap and you go along. And I think that you've got to be careful. And sometimes judges will say, well, when you say, yes, 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 Justice, they'll say, why? And then if you haven't thought that through and you get caught out, well, nothing's worse than that. So figure out, and if there are legitimate concerns, you've got to ask yourself, if they're putting something to you that hadn't occurred to you before about the weakness in your case, or another weakness in your case, listen to it and figure out if you can overcome it. It doesn't help to ignore it. It doesn't help to think it doesn't exist. It's got to be addressed. And if there is no answer, I must confess that I was never able. When the penny dropped, I just couldn't argue for the sake of arguing. I always felt like a real Lulu. I just so stood there, talking about Johan Krichler. In those days, you'd appear before Johan Krichler, Louis Harms, and you couldn't take chances. And I'd always feel like, oh goodness, why didn't I do woodwork or something else? But so yeah,